Can anybody invest into real estate? And I think that yes, anybody can invest into real estate. I think it definitely helps if you surround yourself with people that have done it before you. I think that that's kind of a rule about anything. If you're looking to lose weight or get into a different career or get this type of job, I think it kind of helps to surround yourself with people that are in that industry or that have just lost weight or just gained muscle. I think real estate is a big industry. There's a lot of people. It's kind of like there's a lot of people in it, but it is like a small like group, if you will, like a tightly knit group there. But yes, I do think that anybody can buy real estate. I think that real estate, it's a long journey. You might not be able to buy your first property within 6 months or a year or two. It might be a little bit longer than that. But there's plenty of resources. I know many individuals that have money but they don't have time to go find the deal, to kind of do the busy work, which is find the deal, renovate it, get it to closing, renovate it, get it on the market for rent. Again, if you're looking to buy a rental property, get it on the market for rent, pick a good renter, and then manage the property. So there's a good portion that someone who has the money might not have that kind of time to devote to that. And so now there's a gap. And the gap is, how can you learn how to meet that gap there and provide value to a person that has the money but doesn't have the time. And so I would look at multiple resources, one of them being Bigger Pockets. I've learned a lot about real estate and real estate investing, and even considering buying real estate out of state from Bigger Pockets and a couple other resources that I look at. But Bigger Pockets would be one, and then reading books. Rich Dad Poor Dad is a really good starter book about investing and about money and about investing into real estate. Really about mindset. And so I would definitely read books, go online, go on YouTube, look at who are some, pretty big players in real estate, investing and buying real estate. But yeah, I definitely think that anybody could invest into real estate, even if you have a minimum wage job, and you've had that for multiple years. I think that there's a couple things that you can kind of critique, so that you can either set aside time or money or both to be able to invest into real estate. I know somebody who works at a restaurant, and they almost every year for the last 8 years have bought duplexes in a single family home, in a fourplex. And they work at a restaurant, and they've been working at a restaurant for over 20 years. And they have multiple kids. I think they have 3 or 4 kids. And yet they still have figured out how to invest into real estate. Now, it was a slow journey for that person. They bought one property and waited for multiple years, saved up their money, raised rents, and then bought another one. And so as time goes on, they're buying more frequently. But now that individual is in a position where they could retire. And they have multiple kids, and they could pay for college. They own multiple units and multiple pieces of real estate. And that person works at a restaurant, and it's somebody, again, there's nothing wrong with that, but you wouldn't think by that person working at a restaurant that they would have over 15, 20 units associated with their name. I think it's remarkable. And so I feel like you see many stories like that. That's just one of them. But I definitely think that anybody could invest into real estate. I think the first step is start learning. There's a bunch of free information online and on YouTube that you can learn on. That's how I got started on Bigger Pockets, is because it was free. And then I started buying some of their books, and I went to some of their events and courses, and I started learning a bunch more about real estate, where 10 years ago, when I first had hopes into investing in real estate. I was very, I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought it was extremely complex, and I thought that you had to have hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars worth of real estate, worth of cash to even get into real estate. But what I found is there's many ways of how to structure deals and how to invest into real estate. And money's just one resource to get to the real estate. But another big problem is finding, like I said before, finding the deal, someone to do the day-to-day busy work from getting the deal, from finding the deal to having a tenant. There's a lot that happens in between there. And you can teach yourself by online and just small fees of books and classes that you can take to learn of how to do everything in between, where somebody, like I said before, that has money but doesn't have time, you can bridge that gap and you can fix that problem for them, and at the same time invest into real estate.